Welcome to the Hagen-Renaker channel. California pottery history and model horse history are interwoven in surprising ways. Today we learn about originals by Robyn Sikking. Robyn's daughter, Laurilyn Burson, tells us about her own pottery partnership with Maureen, one of the most beloved and prolific model horse designers. This pedigree of potteries has birthed the golden age of model horse ceramics.
I'm Laurilyn Sikking Burson. I used to work at Hagen-Renaker for many years.
And before that, you worked for your mom.
Well, we started working in the pottery when we were kids, like 7 years old. We used to pour clay into molds at our parents' barn when they were starting out making a pottery.
And you are?
I'm Audrey Sikking Turner, and yes, my first job was in the ceramics, was for Robyn Ceramics, and when I was about 10, I used to take glycerin and put it into the clay and then push it through a screen to make the fur on Santa Claus. That was one of my first jobs. And we got our Social Security cards when in that age. And so we started pretty young.
You were officially employees. So other potteries called the fur spaghetti technique, when they apply like a hair or extruded noodle look. That's called fur at Robyn's pottery,
right?
Correct? Okay.
Because it was on the edge of Santa Claus's
Jacket and hood.
And on the reindeer, around their saddles. And then she also dipped lace in slip to put around some of the real early pieces. Pat and Puss had some of the fur and the lace.
Well, as working for your parents, what were the hours that you had to work?
When we were little, I don't remember. But when I was in high school, she and I would walk down, and the parents had a factory. They got a Quonset hut from the, what do you call that?
Military, naval ammunition depot.
Well, anyway, where you could buy things like that. And they bought one and put it on the bottom of our grove and called it a factory, and we had the most employees after Sunkist in Fallbrook.
Oh my goodness.
We had more than 28 at one time.
And Fallbrook was known for its citrus production, so that's impressive.
Yeah.
And later they became the avocado capital of the world, Fallbrook, California. So what hours did your parents have you working as teenagers there in the pottery?
She devised it. 3 o'clock in the morning we'd get up and walk down to the studio and work from like
from 3 to 7. We had to get 4 hours in, and I wanted to go to the drugstore after school with the kids. So I got my 4 hours in at the factory in the morning, and then I went home, and I had a friend that delivered papers, so he came and had breakfast with me.
Aww. At the drugstore, did you get ice cream? Is that why everyone hung out at the drugstore?
Well, no,
Yes,
that was
sodas
just
the hangout.
That was just the hangout after
Oh, I love
school.
it.
And I wanted to participate in sports, and so that was the same thing. We were paid the same as the other employees if we put our 4 hours in each weekday.
Wow, that's so fair. That's great.
And so we chose to do it in the morning. The thing was, we did have to go to bed early because we needed to get our sleep as well. So there were strict rules.
I slept through government.
Oh gosh. Did you have time to do homework? Or did you do that at lunch during school hours so that you could budget your time? Or did they not have many homework assignments?
We did them whenever. I don't think we had a whole lot, but we got it in.
That's wonderful.
Either in the evening or whatever. And we also had to help cook and do dishes and things like that in the evening. So.
Did your mom tutor you in each step of the process? Did she do like an example of how she'd paint eyes, for example, and then you had to decorate just like her or practice her signature?
Well, her eyes were a special design of hers. So, and my desk had a buzzer on it, and we would have to call Ethel. She was the one that organized, she was the head worker.
The forewoman.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and she would come, because when you know this, when you work on something, you get so that you don't really see it.
We call that barn blind, because you think the best thing, your work is the best in front of you, or your horse is the best, and you can't see it anymore.
Well, it's just, she wanted to make sure that every face was pretty.
Oh.
Every face had to be perfect, and I failed.
Oh, no.
I wiped off more faces than you can imagine just in a very short time, and then I got to put clouds on the reindeer.
So it's important that you say wiped off, because it was vitrified porcelain. So when you did the extra decoration on top, it would wipe off. And most of us are familiar with Hagen-Renaker, which was earthenware for the most part, and you can't wipe off. You get one shot.
Earthenware too.
Oh, you were earthenware as well?
Yes.
How did you wipe off the earthenware eyeball mistakes?
No, but they were already glazed and had skin on them.
Oh, you were overglazing the eye.
Yes.
So it would wipe off.
All
okay.
the painting was overglazed. They were fired 4 times.
Well, you got multiple chances. That's wonderful. That's way better than just painting on this. I get one shot and then I've ruined it.
Well, that was the thing, that when the Japanese copied it, the faces were not her faces. I mean, that was the big distinction between the copies and her pieces, because every face had to be absolutely perfect. The perfect smile, the perfect twinkle in the eye.
How many times in an hour would you ring the buzzer to be checked for your work, or would it be at the end of your shift, maybe?
Well, I don't remember things good at all. So if we were there at 3 o'clock, she wasn't there at 3 o'clock. So I don't know when she checked my eyes. And one little side tidbit is that my husband, my dear husband, that I ended up with 30 years after, he was also a face painter. So but he worked in the daytime. And of course we weren't a thing at that time.
Yeah.
He was in love with her.
Oh,
all along.
Oh, I love this story. So
she's much better at the store
your
than
mom
I am,
hired
so it's a
other
good thing you
teenagers
came.
in
No.
the area, or
No teenagers.
Oh, so he was an adult when he worked there. Oh,
He's 7 years older.
oh, okay.
He had
It's not that big of an age difference, okay?
he had retired from the military, and his mother was down here, so he came. And a lot of people, we went to Quest Haven, and a lot of people from there were employed at the factory.
Oh,
There was one lady that was employed who I went to school with her daughter, and she has told me in recent years that my parents saved her mother's life, because she had lost her father, and the mother had never worked and didn't have any skills whatsoever. And they had just moved to Fallbrook when the father died. And so mother and dad gave Norma a job, because the ceramics didn't need outside skills.
exactly. And it's a great stepping stone into the real world of, now you have to balance the budget, now you have to run the household.
So she
That's
went to
wonderful.
work for my parents, and Linda said that it actually saved their family.
There have been several people who've talked about how wonderful it was working for your parents. And I know as kids, it's hard for us to work under our parents.
No, it was very easy, and I did
That's
it
great.
a
Our
whole lot of
parents
my life.
were wonderful. They were very in love with each other, and love was the whole growing up. We were really fortunate. And she was into a lot of different new age stuff, so we got interesting dinners. She brought up really interesting subjects.
Well, I've heard, is it Jeannie who passed away, but she used to work for the Sickings in the
Jeannie.
Oh
clinic.
yeah,
And her mother
No,
was
her mother-in-law.
her mother-in-law was the one Laurilyn was speaking of. That was the poor woman. Yeah. Ethel and Emil was a couple, and Emil was
Bernardin.
Yes.
he was the only other man with Daddy, and we used to tease Daddy because he had 3 daughters, a wife, a female dog, and then he employed 27 other women. So he was surrounded by women, but he did well.
He liked it.
He liked it.
But the techniques of the pottery, it sounds like your parents innovated a lot. Learning about mold making came from Bruce going to Laguna to study, correct?
Started with a tomato. That was his first mold.
Tell me more about this.
Well, he was going to Laguna to get some teaching, and so that was something that we had on the ranch. I mean, we grew our own vegetables and everything as well. And so his first mold was a tomato. And then, of course, Mother's pieces were so intricate, he had to learn to make molds. Some of them had 15 pieces in order to pull off little tiny little pieces that pulled out, because she didn't want to move the arm or whatever it was that.
So the plaster pieces would slide out, and you'd have a whole casting with all these like delicate undercuts and everything captured by those different pieces of plaster, like a Japanese puzzle box.
Right.
And then in the middle you have this figurine that's perfect.
Yeah. Mother could create. I mean, everything came out of her mind. She could not draw well, or she didn't feel she drew well. So everything was like, I can remember leaving for school, and she'd have a clump of clay sitting in front of her. And when we got home, there was a new brother or sister there. I mean, a whole figure. And it was amazing to me. And so when Robyn Jr. got married, Mother made a wedding set. When I was taking ballet, she made little ballet figures. When she got a cocker puppy, the puppy was born. Our life as a family I want to say infected. That's not right. Influenced the things that she would make.
Was she influenced by other California potteries?
Yes.
I found a Florence ceramic that is signed by Robyn, and it's decorated in Robyn's style, but it's a Florence mold. And I found that on the internet, and I have it in my collection now, and it's a strange example of, did she ever go up there and work with them to learn about decorating, or teach them about decorating, maybe, that you know of?
No, it wasn't
They're in LA
interactions
County.
with the artists, but there was a lovely gift shop in Laguna that had all the artists that were relevant in those days.
Well, actually, Mother started in the gift shop, and we carried Florence and
That explains it.
Hagen-Renaker, and I can't think of the other one's name. It was right off the top of my head.
Kay Finch, maybe?
Kay Finch. Kay Finch was the one that Daddy went to study with for molds.
Oh,
And
I thought he went up to Laguna Pottery.
no,
So
Kay Finch was in
That's
Laguna.
fascinating. Okay.
Wow.
And
Another lady
all
pottery.
of the, and I remember the wall pocket things that people made. There was one in particular that was a petunia that I always was fascinated with, and she carried those in the little shop that was Dodge
Car showman.
the
Showroom.
Dodge showroom. And when the war came, they closed and rented to Mother a little their showroom, and that was her first gift shop in Fallbrook. And she carried all those pieces. And in the meantime, she was designing for a guy in New York in a little tiny space in that showroom while
Wow.
people shopped. And she designed Santa Claus for the guy in New York. And the guy in New York laughed at her. He said, nobody's going to buy a ceramic piece that you bring out once a year.
He was wrong.
Right. He was wrong. So she stopped. As shy as she was determined that because Santa Claus was designed from her influence of Fred Waring's The Night Before Christmas and Daddy's Sparkly Eyes. And so she was determined to get him on the market. So they stopped in Laguna, I think after seeing the guy, talking to the guy in New York. Anyway, they stopped in Laguna at Warren Imports. And Mr. Warren was there. And she showed him the Santa, and he fell in love with it. Well, their rule was if Mrs. Warren had a day off to get her hair done and whatnot, she was not to be disturbed for any reason, life or death.
Oh my word.
But Mr. Warren called her to come down to the studio, or the shop, to see Santa Claus. And they fell in love with him and ordered 4. Well, the folks' kill at that time was about that big. It fit 4 Santa Clauses. And they delivered, and that was like in November or something, and they delivered them before Christmas, the first 4.
Do you know what year that was?
1945.
Oh my goodness. And it started off a huge Christmas pottery collectible trend.
Right.
That would be copied by the Japan factories for decades.
Yeah. So then she followed up with the sleigh and the reindeer and the Christmas angels, and it went on from there. Tree topper. Joy, the tree topper, was such a fun thing because everybody was always trying to put the star up there, and she made the little angel with the ornaments that hooked on.
Oh, that's so innovative. Wow. I think the reindeer and sleigh might be the most collectible. Huge piece, when you put it all together on like a table runner as your centerpiece or on a sideboard. That's a great piece.
In Chicago, in their candy department, ordered the sleigh and reindeer a lot because they filled it with candy.
Oh,
Santa and
what a great display idea.
Yeah. So,
did she get a lot of department store orders for
the first, when you really stop and think about it, they started in 45 and ended in about 55. So that's not many years that they actually produced.
But her output is impressive. Yeah. Like you will find those pieces online a lot.
Yeah. She shipped all over the world.
That's amazing. I found some pieces that came from the Arcadia Ceramics Archive that were your mother's pieces in these clear plastic cylinders with a cap. And they must have been for shipping and marketing them to gift stores, but it was such a nice way to see them displayed. You could turn the piece all the way around without someone breaking off a halo or a wing. Do you remember anything about packaging? Or maybe a dealer started packaging
Daddy had
them?
trouble packaging. He made little things to go on those halos. He did everything you could think of at the time, which, we didn't have bubble wrap and a lot of things that we have today.
Sure.
So he did a lot with cardboard, just trying to make
just
things. So
they would survive getting to the retail. Yeah.
He had to be so innovative because Mother came up with all these ideas.
She was creating the challenge that he had to rise to meet. Oh, what a great partnership, though.
It really was. So Mother, Annie Kitten found this ranch, and it was an old ranch house and needed a whole lot of fixing up. But the funny thing was, we moved in on the 2nd of August of 1942, and the people weren't out. They hadn't rolled up a rug, they hadn't packed a thing. And so here we are with a truckload, even chickens on top. She did the funniest thing for their 25th wedding anniversary. cartoons of this with the car loaded with the chickens on top.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah. So we arrived and we pushed back their rug and some of their furniture in the living room, and we moved in. And
Can I put a inset in this?
Yes.
Because I wasn't here and I don't know if you told, but my mind is very slow. It took me years, but just this year I realized that the day of lives in infamy.
The day of infamy.
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor, and when we moved to Fallbrook in August, that I had no idea. She was so worried about my dad being
Having to go to war.
Drafted.
it was weird.
Yes,
So that was a very, very tight, like, window there that you guys.
Well, and I didn't know Annie Kitten had anything to do about it. So
well, she was in real estate, and she was the one that found it, I believe. And her sister, our grandmother, helped finance it
Okay.
because, they
Yeah.
all of a sudden,
Young family trying to move.
yeah. And so
it was the nicest thing, though. Fallbrook was so wonderful to grow up in.
well, in 1942, when war was declared, my mother was so worried that my father would have to go in the service, and she had been told or read that anybody that is producing food for the war effort would not have to be drafted. And so she talked to her aunt, who was in real estate, and Annie Kitten found this orchard. It was 20 acres, 10 here and 10 here. This was avocados and things, this was lemons. And she moved us from probably December 41 to August 42, and we moved lock, stock, and barrel to this ranch house with an orchard, and Daddy knew nothing about trees or anything.
Oh my word.
I mean, he'd been
Crash course.
a bread man and a milkman and sold stockings during the Depression.
So he knew how to drive a truck.
And how to talk to people and sell.
No,
No.
no, no,
Not
no.
even that, huh?
No, no, no. He knew how to drive a truck.
Okay.
Bread's delivered at about
Milk.
5 o'clock in the morning, and milk's delivered earlier.
When he was 14 and moved to California, he used to run menus for Little Joe's and one other real famous, Felipe's in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
He was 14 and he was on a bicycle, and he would take the menus and take them to the printer, pick them up from the printer, and get them back to the restaurants. That was how he helped make a living.
How often would that be? Every week?
Every day.
Every day.
Oh.
Daily menu changes for the
Yeah.
gourmet. Wow.
Yeah. So he quit school when he was in the 8th grade. Never went, or I think he went a couple of years of high school, but because his father had died and lost everything, he
Supported the household.
his mother and his younger sister. The other boys were all married out of the house. And so he didn't have any education to get a real fancy job. But he had, he was always working.
And I found another gal that lives here in Del Diaz, and we've decided that our fathers must have known each other, because when my dad would go to the post office, and anybody could tell, because working with all the plaster, he left white.
Oh, I do that. Up my deck steps, I have these giant white footprints.
So he had them going into the post office, because we had to go to the post office to
I love it.
get our mail. But her father was the minister of the Baptist church, which is on the hill right back of town. And I had a lovely experience there one time when I was a little girl. I was up on that road, and the bell started ringing, and it just enveloped me. It was just the most wonderful thing. I was very young, and then just lately I thought, why was I on that hill in the dark in Fallbrook by myself?
Because it was safe. It's Fallbrook.
Yeah.
I mean, other than a coyote, you really didn't have to worry about much.
Well, I finally figured it out. It's because she was in a shop, which was down on the street, and I was just wandering around.
Oh my goodness.
You were just meant to be there.
Looking at the stars, maybe, or
And this is before my friend was born, but I figured with as small as Fallbrook was,
Yes.
and her dad being a minister, that they would be in Lions Club and all those things together.
Elks Club or whatever. Yeah.
Daddy belonged to Rotary.
Oh, okay.
He was a Rotarian.
He did a lot. It sounds like she did the creative side and the directing, and then he did like so much of the heavy lifting portion of the,
Oh, yeah.
and then you guys did the fine decor and
But Daddy was also still keeping the orchard and the grove
and
together.
he had to learn on his feet
Yeah.
because he'd never been
Right.
a citrus man.
He
or-
learned everything.
Is that a-
I'm not an artist. I don't.
I wondered. Yeah, I didn't know.
I got left out. Went down to my daughters, but
Oh, really?
yeah, I don't.
Artist?
I don't know anything about your molds, and I don't know.
And I don't want to know.
Well, I just kind of, I sell it.
I get it. Yeah.
Well, she critiques too.
Yeah. Robyn Jr. and I used to say, well, you need somebody to appreciate it.
It takes all of us working together, the marketing team, the critique team, doing
Right.
quality control and packaging and
Like I say, when I was trying to do faces and I just failed. But then the clouds on the reindeer were really fun because it was silk from the parachutes.
oh,
And they would take silk and Mother would make the blue with a whole lot of the oil and turpentine to thin it. And then cotton in the silk, make a little ball and you just and made it look
I
like
wondered.
clouds.
I have Robyn's palette of all her paints and everything. I wondered what that little square of silk was for.
Yeah,
Thank you. Now I know.
it's
Yeah.
the clouds on the reindeer in the
Aw.
sleigh.
Very cool.
They innovated,
Weird.
because
Yeah, all of the little technique. That's fascinating to me as an artist to learn all the little
Like how to do the
techniques.
spaghetti with glycerin.
That a glycerin. I was like,
Yeah.
it would be natural. It would be organic.
water-based.
And it would just burn out of the kiln. So it would be perfect for creating a flux to make the clay scoot through the extruder.
and you just had to press it perfect so there'd be a little rosette on that side, and then she'd take the tool and take it off the side and
Perfectly
put it
layer
on the
it.
slip for the Santa Claus fur.
Fascinating. I'm going to have to remember this because I could use that glycerin trick for some things, slip sticking.
But that was, as a little kid, we got back from South America and we were living in, I think, our up in the valley, Reseda. And I was, in order to make some money to live, to eat, we were doing the miniatures in our little apartment. I was doing
Miniature squirrels.
the miniature squirrels, which always reminds me of the miniatures of Hagen-Renaker. And I had trimmed a whole tray of them and they were sitting on the kitchen table. But the day before when I was trimming them, a tail broke off and I handed it to Lorraine, who was about 18 months, maybe 2 years old. And so the next morning I get up and here's this whole tray of the squirrels I had trimmed and got ready to glaze, and every tail was broken. She had gotten up on the chair and broken off all the tails because then she thought I would give them to her.
She was starting a collection. Oh. Or maybe she thought this is what we do. I'm gonna copy.
It was another toy,
Oh, another thing to play with.
another thing to play with.
Did she throw them or
No,
stack
she
them?
just broke every one of them on the tray. Oh, probably
And
50
you're like,
of them.
that's all my work for the whole week. I also seam inside my house and have trays out on my kitchen bar of finished wear. And
Well, even our grandfather, Mother's father, when he was in retirement, she set him up making the miniature squirrels.
oh,
And he was out in the garage making his squirrels when he just killed it.
oh my goodness.
And the traces.
That's
How
how
hard that
every potter wants to go that way, though.
Yeah.
Doing what you
We
love.
want to do what we're loving right up to the day. Yeah.
But that explains why there's a lot of
he's going up.
squirrels. We find a lot of robin squirrels.
And Robyn,
I'm-
two of Robyn's miniature squirrels got made by Hagen-Renaker.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, I
do you mean
think
the tiny ones or the mid-size?
Tiny.
Oh, yeah.
The little tiny. They made all of them.
Well, they made the bigger
She
ones.
actually designed them for Hagen-Renaker. and
Oh, that's
then,
interesting.
I think. And then when
the
we
chatter.
had the gift shop in Idlewild, that was the only thing she was producing was the animals for her own shop.
The Woodland
Yeah.
Wildlife Series. Yeah.
And then she branched into the St. Francis's, and then when she was making nature art, when plastic flowers first came out, huge thing of plastic flowers where everybody was using them in their house, she would go out in the mountains, find wood pieces, take the wood piece, put the plastic flowers with it, and her little critters on, and we sold them in the store like crazy.
Like a wall plaque? maybe?
No,
Oh, for a centerpiece.
Little diorama.
Ah,
thank you.
yeah.
The word.
Like a little woodland scene.
Yeah. And it was all from the wood in Idlewild, that she would go out and find.
Oh, we gotta find one of
And now
those.
people are like, how do I get these critters off this piece of wood?
Oh.
And we're always like,
Leave
it might have been that way. Leave it.
So
Oh,
that
that's
was what she
interesting.
did after she closed the ceramic studio in Fallbrook. We went to Idlewild, and she opened the gift shop there, and then asked to create. She was creating up in her 90s. One day, Laurilyn and I, we used to go up together to visit her, and she, asked us to bring certain things. Like $18 of water. Well, we did the water too, but remember the day we were trying to find something art thing for her? We were in Encinitas, and we were looking in every art store for some particular thing she wanted to make her cards, or she made nature cards, pressed flowers with white glue and like a parchment paper over it. She sold those. If you don't have some of those, I still have a few.
I would love to at least photograph.
I mean, she could not stop.
She was
creating.
She
driven.
made jewelry
Yes.
also, yeah.
Oh, what kind of jewelry?
She took clay and made beads and fired them, and she
Oh.
also took bread. Bread she made
With
Oh,
with glue,
breadcraft. I've seen that.
with
Yeah.
white glue, maybe, and
that looked like.
and then the mice would come and chew it, or no? They would in my house, but
But we sold all that in both the gift shops that she had. We sold everything that she made, but she just had to keep creating.
she was driven. She
Yeah.
was really.
Well, I think it's oxygen for us, and if we're alive, we're creating.
Jim brought her back to the mold room at the factory in San Dimas. And I was excited to get to meet her. And I don't quite remember how we moved on to get to a friendship. Somehow or other, I maybe looking at her garden when I had to go over to get her to do something, sign a horse or pick up a new model. We found out we liked, and I learned so much from her on our outings. We'd go out every spring and see all the ceanothus, and she's the one that helped me learn all the flowers, and I have to relearn them because I forget them all. But I treasure her friendship for that reason more than the horses, even though she was so generous to let me make the horses.
You shared a love of nature that just transcended the work. It was a bond of loving nature.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And the butterflies, the monarchs.
Well, then Hagen-Renaker, I don't know if you ever saw it, they built what we named an arboretum on the property in San Marcos.
No, I didn't see that.
The Monarch Project.
I've heard of it, but I didn't
Encinitas
see
too?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because John apparently had been very interested in all the things the butterflies do, and I was too, and it really was nice because it's so hard to figure out how can it go from that to that.
Magic, you know.
How did you end up at the Encinitas pottery location where you were making some of the stoneware tests and stuff for Hagen-Renaker? When did they open up that extra pottery location? In Encinitas?
My recollection of how the story goes is that I got a note from Maxine, and I forget what it was about. I think that they spent some time at my parents' cabin in Idlewild, and so she sent this note to me, and I had it for a long time, kept thinking I should. I forget why I needed to respond to this card, and finally I did, and I put on the bottom, I think, P.S. the San Marcos, or the Freeman McFarland factory is for sale. And Maxine picked up on that, and they bought it. And they moved Rick Steckman, and me over to that property where they had a nursery in Latavius.
The greenhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's the factory that Jim brought Maureen through, that I got to meet her.
That's pretty
But
cool.
I had seen her pottery. There was a lovely gift shop in Encinitas that had her pottery.
The third bird.
Yes.
Yes.
They had a lot of her pieces, and I just adored them. And so I was excited to meet her, and it just grew. And she loved to take everybody through her garden.
Yes.
So I got taken through the garden several times, and the friendship just grew.
After working most of her life for her mother Robyn Sikking's pottery, Laurilyn Burson found herself working for the Freeman McFarland plant in San Marcos, California, not far from her home in Fallbrook. These lease turns were custom glazed by Laurilyn. When San Marcos factory was purchased by Hagen-Renaker and subsequently closed 5 years later, the Hagen-Renaker former Freeman McFarland plant in San Marcos, California, Laurilyn went on to make molds and even design some stoneware animal line for Hagen-Renaker. She made molds for many miniatures and began to work closely with Maureen at this time. These are examples of the process between test, here is one of Laurilyn's tests, and the finished product, the Breyer licensed Margaret Henry's Misty that Hagen-Renaker produced. After her time at Hagen-Renaker, Laurilyn had plenty of energy to devote to Maureen Love's Made with Love product line. They were partners together in many beautiful molds and finishes. It was so successful that they branched out to molds from Maureen's garage, which were the much larger and ambitious projects like these you see here.
What do I want to leave behind when my time on earth has run? Friends who miss me, work well done.